Hi, welcome to Forgotten Legends of Sound. Yeah, we are doing just kind of a fun video today. Kevin and I are both going on the 70,000 tons of metal cruise, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. And we just wanted to talk about the lineup so far and just kind of explain the bands that we are most interested in, as well as the ones that we're like only like have like we're casual fans for. And yeah, anyways, it would just be kind of fun going through the lineup and everything. We haven't been doing videos for a long time. We've like had a lot of changes going on in our lives and a lot of things going on so that's the reason why we haven't really uploaded anything in a long time. But yeah, like the last video we uploaded was recorded like 5 months ago or something.
For reals, yeah.
So, but
It's
anyways,
just been crazy.
yeah, things have just been crazy, but we're hoping to be able to do a little bit more stuff. But for today, we just want to talk about 70,000 Tons of Metal, the 2026 cruise. So,
Yeah, let's do it. So I'm going to go ahead and read off each of the bands and everything. There's 51 bands that are announced so far as of the recording of this video, like we're January 1st. So we've still got 9 more bands to be announced. And so who knows, maybe the day before it'll just be boom, 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 who knows.
so they're probably going to announce Manticora for us.
I know, it'll probably announce Manticora, So anyways, I'm going to just kind of read off the bands and we'll go through each band of what we're excited about. And honestly, that's about it, So I'm pretty stoked. Like, we went in 2025, with all of our friends and everything, and that was sweet. So
Yeah.
this year it's just gonna be Ian and I, and we're gonna we're gonna go hard. We're gonna go and see so many shows. Like we're not gonna take too many breaks.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're gonna go hard this time around because it's like
Yeah.
you want to see as much as you can,
Yeah.
with the time given.
And a lot of these bands are bands that we don't really see in the United States very often as
Yeah.
far as touring and stuff goes. So it really is a special lineup of crews, and I'm excited to talk about
Yeah.
them and everything,
Before we jump into the bands, I do want to say the one band that made us buy a ticket. It's funny because on the 70K forum, there's actually a post of someone who's like, "What made you buy a ticket?" The one band that made us buy a ticket for this year is Darkane.
Mhm.
Like, dude, we've been into Darkane
Yeah.
since 2002, and it's like we've never been able to see Darkane live. So like,
Yeah.
spoiler alert, that's one of the bands announced. They're like, dude, that got us to buy the ticket.
Yeah, they're like literally one of the first melodic death metal type bands that we ever got into. So they have a special place, and Expanding Senses is still in my top 3 like favorite metal albums of all time, along with like Sonata Arctica, Requiem 9, Camelot, Black Halo.
Yeah,
I'd say
Symphony
Expanding
X,
Senses.
5 in mythology suite.
Yeah. Like it literally is one of my favorite records of all time. And it's gonna be amazing to see that band live for the first time, and being fans for over 20 years. It's just like, man, it really is a dream come true. And there's a lot of other dope bands too, so it's gonna be fun talking about it.
All right, so in alphabetical order, there's 51 bands announced. So the first band is Amorphous. This is a band that, I think we will probably see both shows. We've seen Amorphous once before live, and that was a sweet show. Hopefully, it was during the Halo tour that we saw them. Hopefully, on the boat, they mix it up and everything. Like, I would love if they played, Heart of the Giant live or something like that. Like, that'd be sick.
Heart of the Giant would be sick. Alone, if they played Alone and Heart of the Giant, both of those songs are like our favorite Amorphous songs.
Towards and Against would be great.
Yeah.
I would love Towards and Against.
That'd be awesome.
It's just so Amorphous. We're definitely gonna try and see both shows.
Yeah, I'm gonna see both shows.
Well, I'm gonna see both shows.
So we're big Amorphous fans.
We do love Amorphous, yeah. And Amorphous has really climbed over the years for us,
Yeah.
So
Every album is has something really awesome in it, and they have lots of different styles and stuff. And yeah, I love their new album too. Borderland was really sick. So yeah, it's gonna be cool to see them.
Yeah, they'll probably play some of the songs live, from the newest album, and so that'll be cool. All right, so the next band is Anthrax.
So Anthrax is a band that you and I didn't really grow up with when it came to the big four. I remember whenever we were teenagers, the 2 that we listened to the most was Metallica and Megadeth, and then Slayer and Anthrax were both bands that I only got into later on in life. You know, within the last 5 years or something. And Anthrax even later than that. So it's just hearing them and stuff. I am pretty excited for them because they are a pretty big deal in those the metal world and everything. I feel like I want to see both shows because when we saw Sepultura for a little bit, we missed the second show. We only saw a little bit of the first show. So it would be kind of nice. I know I probably won't have another moment to see Anthrax.
Right.
So even though I'm not a huge fan, I'm kind of more of a casual fan for them. they still have some good songs and some good albums and stuff that I enjoy, and it would be cool to just. I feel like it's just an amazing opportunity to see both shows.
Right.
But what do you think?
Yeah, I'm down for seeing both shows. I'm not the biggest Anthrax fan myself, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like there's a lot of bands, and you'll see as we go through that, like, if the opportunity arises, like, yeah, I'm gonna go see the show. You know what I mean? But if there's like a conflict where there's
Darkane or Anthrax. Freaking
I'm
Darkane.
seeing yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like tentatively, I'm like, I'll see both shows, but like,
Yeah, that's how I
they
feel.
can also be kind of in the middle where it's like, I'll at least try and make it to one show. And
Yeah.
if there's a compromise for the second one, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, Arcona. So Arcona, like, you know, I hadn't really listened to Arcona that much. You know, I've listened to a little bit of songs here and there from them ever since they got announced. You know, it's just I just not really familiar with them real well. But it's like I actually really dig the vocalist because it's like I'm tired of like female vocalists being like sounding like I don't know, the epic metal singers where it's like trying to sound pretty and stuff. And like the Arcona singer, I don't know her name, but it's like I feel like she kind of like gives it her all, like gives more, you know, so it's just a little bit more like
Appealing.
aggression and stuff instead of like just trying to sound pretty, you know what I mean? And I know they've got a lot of like folk and Slavic type of like, you know, influences or whatever, you know, and it's like I just think that would be pretty cool to see live, you know. So Arcona's the band that I don't know real well. Tentatively, it'd be nice to see both shows, but you know, more realistically, it might just be one. But it's like they're a band that I actually think will probably win me over because sometimes in that live setting and everything, you can really get immersed, you know. And so
they're also a band I don't know very well. I only heard a few songs and stuff like you, and I am kind of like, yeah, let's at least see one show, preferably the first show, and then just see if it like totally blows us away, then try to see the second show. And then if it's just like, oh, that was fun, but we have other things to do, then it's like, okay, that's the second show. So kind of a one show band probably for me. But yeah, I liked what I heard so far. So you know, we could turn into more Arcona fans as time goes on.
Right. And I've heard some of their older stuff as well as some of their newer stuff. It sounds like they sound like just different bands almost with the old versus the new, but all of it sounded pretty good. I just feel like Arcona is the kind of band that I feel like has something to say musically that like I just never really heard this band, never got into over the years or anything, and so they might appeal to me in a certain sense that like maybe some other bands, you know, I guess I'll put it this way, filling in a void that I didn't know I had or something like that, you know what I mean? And they sound pretty good. So, and that's the other thing, like with folk metal and stuff, I'm kind of getting really tired of like the folk / party metal type stuff. You know what I mean? Like having like folk metal, but have it be a little more serious or something. Like, that might be a little more
something more
appealing.
like Primordial, where they take it seriously and it's a little more engaging, even though it's still folk metal.
Yeah. Like, Primordial would be great to be on the cruise. But anyways, next is Beast in Black.
Beast in Black is a great band. Definitely one of those newer bands that only came out in the last like decade, but they've been selling a lot and just really growing a lot. When you look at like YouTube numbers and stuff, like
it's insane.
It seems like they're a band that's like only 3 albums in, and they're definitely like
going places.
Yeah. So it'll be cool to see them. We saw them like 2 or 3 years ago with our friend Chad, and that was a really great show. Who were they touring with? It was Beast in Black and
it was the Dark Connection. They had opener. I think maybe Stryker might have been an opener, and I think
so. Maybe Seven Kingdoms again. I don't know.
It might have been Seven Kingdoms. I can't remember, but there were like Night Demon or it was something like because Beast in Black was the headliner basically on that Dark Connection tour. You know, so
they were great then. Awesome band. They're definitely a 2 set list band. There's a lot of songs that would be really dope to see. You know, like Crazy Mad Insane would be awesome. You know. So I'm looking forward to them. That would be cool.
Yeah, I agree. Beast in Black, I'll probably try to see both shows, you know. But it's like, also, if we did miss a show from them, I'd be fine with it because we are going to see them like in April with Halloween. Yeah. You know, so it's like, they're a band that, like, I'm definitely going to try and make both shows, but if Darkane comes up and is like Beast in Black or Darkane, I'm going to see Darkane. You know, so
I love how all our metrics to compare is always
Darkane.
Like, well, Darkane. If Darkane play it, I'm seeing.
right, exactly. So Beast in Black is like a 2 show, you know. Yeah. Then we've got Blood Red Hourglass. I don't know these guys real well. You've been digging into them a little bit
Yeah.
more. I'm not as familiar. They're kind of a skip for me. Maybe I'll see one show and see what it's all about, but I don't know. You got more to say, so what do you think of
Yeah,
them?
I do like them. I hadn't heard of them before they were announced, so I've just been listening to them since then. And I listened to their new album that came out like the last 2025, and I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. So it's not I'm not a huge fan, but I like what I hear so far. So they're definitely similar to Arcona, where I want to see at least the first show and then see how it is. And
Yeah.
then if it kind of wins me over, then I'd love to see the second one. But
Mhm.
otherwise, it's kind of like, yeah, depending on the circumstances and stuff. Like I'm more of a casual fan, like probably just one show,
Yeah. Cemetery Skyline.
Yeah, I love Dark Tranquility. I love Miguel Stane or whatever it is. We're American. We don't know how to pronounce all the things in like Europe and
For
Asia
like
and
20
whatever.
plus years, we've been calling it, Michael Stain.
Stain. Yeah,
And if he says Stani, that's fine, whatever. But,
I do like Cemetery Skyline. It was an album when it first came out. I was a little bit like lukewarm, and then the more I listened to it, the more I was just kind of like, man, this is really good. And the Nordic Gothic album or whatever. I think it depends on how much of the album they play in that first show. I want to see the first show at least, and if they pretty much do my favorite songs and stuff from that first album, well, their only album, then I'll kind of be fine skipping the second show.
yeah.
But it's kind of like, well, if we had like time and there's free time to see both shows, then I'd be down for seeing both shows.
Yeah. There's a few bands that are in this lineup that are almost like a little bit more of like the chill shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where like Soen fits
Yeah.
for me as well. Where it's like, I think for Cemetery Skyline, I wouldn't mind seeing one show, but it'd be a nice break in between,
Yeah.
other metal bands or whatever,
Because they're not as like heavy and aggressive. It's like a blend
Right.
of gothic rock and gothic metal, so it's not super aggressive, and it's
Right.
nice to have a change like that. you know?
Right. So that might be kind of a nice break, as we're going from show to show to show, But yeah, kind of a one show for me for Cemetery Skyline. But now Darkane, I don't know if I get a chance. Like,
Yeah.
Darkane's the one that made us like buy a ticket and everything, and I'm definitely gonna see both shows. Like, Darkane is like the number one priority for
Both
this
of us.
cruise.
Yeah.
And so.
What are songs that you wish they play, or like songs that you're looking forward to for them?
Because we've never seen them live, I know there's some that I know that they're gonna play stuff like Innocence Gone. You know what I mean? Like, I
That'd be
know
sick.
there's certain songs when you look at the set list FM of like shows they've done in the past. There's certain songs that they always play, and that's cool. But like, dude, I wouldn't mind Organic Canvas. Anything
Yeah.
off of Expanding Senses and Layers of Lies is cool with me. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I would totally be down with like Insanity as well.
Yeah.
Some of the
Hostile
Insanity stuff.
Phantasm or
Yeah, I'd be
something.
down
Yeah,
with
that'd be
some of
sick.
that stuff. And like in preparation for Darkane, I'm not as familiar with stuff past Layers of Lies, because it's like they got like different vocalists and stuff. Now, I have been listening a lot to the Inhuman Spirits album with like Lawrence McRory on vocals, and I've actually been digging that one. I think Peter Wilder does a great job on the drums with that album, and it's just kind of like, because I love the Andrea Sidow area so much, it's like I usually stay in that area. I'll dabble with like Rusted Angel and stuff, but it's like, what is it, Demonic Art and the Sinister Supremacy. Yeah, those two albums I haven't listened to as much, but I have been getting more into Inhuman Spirits. So maybe I will flesh out a little bit, listen to those two albums. But it's just like, I do think Darkane's really underrated. And like, dude, I want to be there. Like, I want to be in the front for at least one of those shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like, I want to support Darkane. If they have merchandise on the boat, I'm getting Darkane merchandise, because it's like, dude, they haven't toured America in so long,
Yeah.
and it's like, I want to try and be like the American guy that's like, dude, we love Darkane, you know what I mean? And so, anyways, I'm the most excited for Darkane, and I'm looking forward to both shows,
Yeah.
But what about you? What are some songs that you want to see?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. Anything from Layers of Lies and Expanding Senses is going to be amazing. I really love just like a track like Fatal Impact.
Yeah.
That one would be really awesome. Imaginary Entity would be amazing.
Solitary
Like,
Confinement.
Solitary Confinement.
Yeah.
Violence from Within. Submission. Like, dude, man, that'd be really sick.
Yeah.
As far as like my favorite albums is like those first four and probably the Inhuman Spirits. So I'm kind of similar to you.
Yeah.
And I still like some stuff from Sinister and Demonic, but like both of those albums, like they just don't hit the highs as much as their other records do. But yeah, anything from those first 4 albums is gonna be really sick.
Last song too, like dude, freaking Godforsaken Universe, or dude, that's one that I want
Yeah.
to see live, man. Like that'd be a sick song to play live, man.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that'd be awesome. So yeah, anything. Yeah, I'm excited. They're a 2 set list band. I'm same with you. I want to be in the front for at least one of the shows, you know, and just like rock out and bang and stuff. The band just has meant so much to us over the years. Like we've really loved Arcane's lyrics and just their musical approach and stuff. Like they're just a band that like really connected with us whenever we were in our teenage years and stuff, and we've just loved it ever since. So we're pretty excited for them.
Can't wait to have those shows painted on my retina.
I know.
Come, you know, January 29th or 30th or whenever they play. But yeah, we're seeing those shows for sure. All right, Dark Tranquillity.
Dude. Oh, my turn?
Yeah.
Dark Tranquillity is a 2 set list too.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to melodic death metal, Dark Tranquillity is probably my favorite band, but I've seen them a couple times already before. You know, they tour America a lot. So that's why Darkane is, you know, freaking like my number 1 band. But Dark Tranquillity is like, I'm really excited for them too. Like they're probably in my top 5 for most excited bands to see on this cruise, you know.
I'll say so, yeah.
And I'm excited because they announced that like they're gonna do some old and some new stuff, you know. So I'm kind of like, if they played some stuff from like, I know they probably won't do Skydancer, but dude, if they played like freaking Crimson Winds or something, Bolt of Blazing Gold, like some of those old school Skydancer songs, or even stuff from the Gallery too.
Right.
Eden Spring would be a blast. Punch for Heaven, awesome. Like if they played some old school 90s DT, I would love it. And then same thing with Projector and Haven. I feel like Projector and Haven, because they play their end a lot, but there's so many amazing songs on Projector that they don't really play as much.
Dude, the Sunfired Blanks, like I'd be totally down for that.
Yeah. And one of my favorite Dark Tranquillity songs of all time is Cornered, which was like a Japanese bonus track for Haven. If they played Cornered, I would be just like, man, this is so sick. And, you know, they were awesome. We saw them like a year ago with Amorphous, and they were amazing. And then we saw them also in like 2016 with Sonata Arctica. So I'm looking forward. They're a 2 set list band, you know, just like amazing music.
It was like the Atoma tour and the End Time Signals tour, like those 2 album, you know. And I agree, man. We're probably gonna see both shows for Dark Tranquillity and Mikhail Stane is like a boat favorite, you know. He's just it's funny because like I had that time in 2018 where, you know, I was just eating pizza and he would just like eat pizza and chill with like fans and just hang out and stuff, you know, just really down to earth, just everything that I've seen, really down to earth, cool band. And it'll be cool to see Dark Tranquillity. So next is Dot Heimsgard. I don't really know these guys real well. Like, again, this is another one that you're more familiar with. They're kind of like a one show for me to just kind of see if they can win me over. Yeah, and it's like, I understand they've got a little bit of that avant-garde thing going, you know. So but if I missed both shows, I wouldn't exactly be like kicking myself or anything. Yeah. But who knows? Like maybe they could win me over and I'll be more into it. But what do you think?
They're definitely a 1 show band for me too. I'm a casual fan. I don't really care for their like early 90s black metal stuff, but like their avant-garde stuff from 99 onward, there's stuff in that I like, that I could enjoy. And their Black Medium Current album that came out a couple years ago, I thought was pretty good. So I'm kind of like, it would be fun to at least see a show just for like, it'd be something different. They're a different sounding band compared to some of the rest of the lineup, you know? Yeah. But at the same time, you know, I'll probably be fine with 1 show, you know, just a very casual fan.
Next is Dragonland.
Now, Dragonland, I've been listening to a good bit lately. They're one of those bands that I'm more of a casual fan. Like I like some stuff, but I don't love Dragonland, you know. But I do kind of feel like I want to see 1 show and see if they convince me, you know. Right. We'll see. I hope they play stuff from like Astronomy and stuff, you know, like that album and whatnot. I think that'd be pretty cool, and maybe even like the Skyfall or whatever, Starfall album. Right. But I don't know.
We'll
see.
They're kind of like a 1 show band for me as well. Honestly, like we heard Dragonland like a long time ago, like because it's like we got into the melodic death metal in like the 2002 area, then we got into the power and the prog stuff in 2003-ish or whatever, you know. And Dragonland was a band that we heard way back in the day, but we never like fully got into them and like they never like fully clicked and stuff. So again, I'm open to them winning me over, but it's like I wouldn't lose sleep if I missed both shows, you know. Yeah. And to be honest, I'm not as excited for the power metal this year as I am with like the melodic death metal this year.
That's true.
You know, like this year it feels so different versus last year's lineup, you know. And
Yeah.
so
Last year was
anyways.
all power metal. This year's like all more like death metal.
Yeah, I mean there is a lot of power metal, but not a lot of like
Mhm.
once we get to it, there's two bands that are like yeah we've been listening to for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
But then the rest is just kind of there for us.
Yeah.
Next is Dustbolt. I don't know Dustbolt real well, you know, and so they're kind of like a skip for me. Like
Yeah.
I'm probably just gonna skip both shows. And again, it's one of those things where we can say this about every band, where it's like, if I've got like 30 minutes to kill or whatever, nothing's going on, am I gonna walk in and watch Dustbolt? Oh yeah, sure. Like I'm totally open to just walking into any show and seeing
Yeah.
what's going on, and maybe stay for a couple of songs or whatever. But like I don't know Dustbolt real well.
Yeah.
But
Same. Yeah, I know Dustbolt's like a thrash band. I think Chad really liked them. But yeah, I never like really got into them or anything. So I'm kind of like okay with skipping them too.
yeah.
But yeah.
Next band is Elvate.
I think they'd be cool. I'm a casual fan. I think it'd be cool to at least see one show.
You're casual in a lot. I'm more
This-
casual than you are. honestly.
This is a great lineup so far because literally Dustbolt is the only band so far in the first like 10 bands that was like a skip for us.
Right,
Everything
right.
else is like stuff
At
that
least
we're at
one
least
show.
Yeah, we're at least fans of to some degree. We at least have their music or something. So yeah, I like Elvate. I think they're pretty good. I'm not a huge fan, so yeah, one show. I guess not much to say though.
Yeah.
So-
One. Yeah. Go
Some
ahead.
of these Celtic metal, folk metal bands will be kind of fun seeing live,
Right,
just for the experience.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like growing up, especially in the early to mid 2000s, we mostly got into like the Fintroll, Corporate Colony type of bands and stuff. And so I feel like a lot of the bands from like the 2010s and stuff, like we didn't get as much into Elvate. We didn't get as much into even Teresa. So it was something that we got into like later and stuff, and it's just, so I don't think we're the biggest like folk metal guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it will still be cool to see like one show for Elvate, and
Yeah.
we'll see. Like I said, man, we'll see if it wins us over.
Yeah.
Arab Altar, again, I'm not as familiar with these guys. They're a skip for me. What do you
Skip
think?
for me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really know them. I think I checked a little bit out, but I was just kind of whatevs.
Firewind.
Yeah, they're kind of a curiosity. I've listened to them a little bit, but I've just never really enjoyed them. Although the Gus G guitarist dude is a phenomenal guitarist and everything.
Yeah.
But musically, I guess just Firewind doesn't really, I guess, appeal to me a whole lot.
Yeah.
But as far as that traditional metal, power metal kind of sound,
Yeah.
I'm sure some people would enjoy it. So I might, see like some of the show or something just out of curiosity. But
Yeah.
otherwise, I'm kind of whatevs.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like maybe I'll see one show, but I could skip Firewind. It's like there's a lot of the power metal bands that I'm okay with skipping, altogether. It's just not the power metal year for me, know. And Firewind, like we've heard of them. Like I remember there's a time when it seemed like I don't remember which album came out at the time, but back in like 2006 or 2007, it seemed like Firewind was gaining a little bit of traction here in America, and I think Gus G was playing guitar with like some famous guy at the time.
Maybe
and-
Ozzy Osbourne. or
yeah, something like that. And
Yeah.
so it gave Firewind a little bit of a boost here in America, but it didn't change anything for me because like we heard Firewind and it was just when you're getting into bands at that time like peak Sonata Arctica, peak Camelot,
Yeah.
peak Halloween, some people will say peak Halloween is like
Yeah,
80s, but like for us like the 2000s,
Yeah.
early in the mid 2000s, Halloween was great.
Rabbit, freaking Keeper's Legacy,
Yeah.
and Gambling.
Gambling
All
were
those
all
albums were
pretty
amazing.
great.
Yeah.
Like it's just Firewind couldn't really beat out all those bands that we were
Yeah.
just falling in love with during that time,
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a curiosity, but we'll see. Yeah. Gamma Bomb.
Yeah, they're another thrash band that I think Chad was into, but I just never really got into. There's a lot of these newer thrash bands that have only been around in the last 10, 20 years or something.
Yeah.
And I say new, but really
Yeah.
it's like they weren't in there in the 80s, you know?
Right, yeah.
And, I mean, I could walk in and see if they impress me, but otherwise I'm okay skipping.
And there's some of these bands too. Like again, I don't know Gamma Bomb's like lyrics and stuff. I don't, there is like an area of like new wave of thrash metal that's also kind of that party thrash and everything. And
Yeah.
some of those bands, I totally get it. Would be pretty cool to see like
Yeah.
live on a boat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, everyone's drinking and everyone's just like
Yeah.
doing the choral chants and whatever. And like I can see that. But yeah, Gamma Bomb's kind of a skip for me. Groza, yeah, kind of a skip for me. I know you've got a little bit more to say for Groza. But,
Yeah. So Groza's doing like one show. They're doing their Nader album, and then the other show is just kind of tracks from their first two albums. So I think that would be kind of cool. I do like the Nader album, but I kind of like that Redemptive End album more. So I'm kind of like, maybe if you guys did that full album instead, but it's okay. I am looking forward to them. There's not a ton of black metal on this cruise, and I feel like Groza is gonna be the band that will like satisfy that itch to be like, oh yeah, let's see this friggin' black metal band, because it's same thing with Cemetery Skyline. It'll be a nice break from the
everything
usual
else.
melodic death metal or power metal or whatever, you know, or
Right.
traditional whatever.
So are you seeing both shows or just one?
I kind of want to see both shows,
Yeah.
but it's
And I'll
just
probably go
depends on-
with you.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
It just
Like,
depends
it's-
on the circumstance. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to see both shows for Groza, but if we only see one, then that's okay. You know?
Yeah. Haggard. Haggard's kind of a tricky one because I've known about Haggard for a long time. And, you know, I do think it'll be cool to bring on all of the instrumentalists and everything, you know?
Yeah.
And we were talking about this. I think, like, Haggard will probably be that band similar to, like, Swallow the Sun from last year, where it's like they only play the show inside the theater, you know? Because last year, Swallow the Sun did like the ballet and everything, so they had both the shows inside the theater. I actually think Haggard might be the same thing, where both shows will probably just be in the theater, you know? And so I wouldn't mind seeing like one. I like some of the, you know, orchestral symphonic stuff and everything, but the guttural vocals for this guy just never really won me over. Even back in the day when I, you know, checked him out, because it's like, you know, I checked Haggard. Haggard is the band that's been on my back burner for 20 years. And it's like I would check it out. It wouldn't quite win me over. I'd wait like 3 to 5 years to check them out again. And they wouldn't quite win me over.
Because the formula for them seems like it'd be so perfect for us.
Right,
like,
right.
Oh, we love Therion and we love like
Therion.
symphonic metal and, you know, like that's awesome. So why isn't Haggard clicking?
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's because like some of the vocal melodies and things don't do a whole lot, you know? And so Haggard is a band that I'm curious if they can win me over off of my 20-year back burner streak, you know? And maybe then it'll be like, okay, finally I can get into Haggard and love them the way that other people love them, you know? But I don't know.
I'm a one-show person for Haggard too. Not because I'm a big Haggard fan, but I just feel like they'll probably put on a really good show, and I want to see if they'll win me over. Like I feel like, even though I'm not a fan, I feel like they're gonna have a special show because of what they're doing, you know. So
that was like Swallow the Sun. Like that was a special show, seeing the ballet and all that. Like that was pretty sweet.
That was pretty sweet.
Harakiri for the Sky. This is another band that's kind of like newer-ish, you know. And like I wouldn't mind seeing like one show. It's funny because like a lot of these bands were just on like Prog Power, you know what I mean? And so it seemed like some of these bands like from Prog Power last year or whatever are like coming over and playing on the cruise and stuff, and it's like and same thing with Cemetery Skyline was on the Prog Power, and so Harakiri for the Sky. I don't love them, I don't know them real well, but I don't mind seeing like one show.
That's kind of how I feel. Like I'm kind of a one show. I'm not a big fan of them, but like I haven't really listened to them a whole lot, so I'm cool with checking it out and just see what happens, you know. But don't have much to say. I'm curious of their sound and how they'll do, and we'll see from there, you know.
Heathen.
Heathen, I think is kind of a one show. I know that you like them a little bit more, but you're more so into that 2010 album,
The Evolution of Chaos.
Yeah, and it's kind of like I'm cool. They're similar to Harakiri, where I'm kind of like cool with just doing a one show and just kind of seeing, you know, seeing what happens.
Yeah, I'm kind of like a one show for Heathen. You know, I really hope that they play that like No Stone Unturned song, because like that's like my favorite Heathen song. I think that song's freaking great. But like, I mean, if opportunity arises that we can see both shows, sure, you know. But I think realistically we'll probably just see the one show. High Raise. This band, like again, I don't know them real well, you know, and that's the other thing is there is actually a lot of like female vocalist bands here on the cruise, you know, and I know a lot of people are excited for High Raise and everything. I don't know them real well. It's kind of a skip for me, but I mean, like I said, if the opportunity arises, maybe I'll see one show, but we'll see.
Yeah, there's a skip for me too. That I heard a little bit, and it just sounded kind of like generic melodic death metal stuff to me. You know, I don't know. It just didn't really capture me or anything. You know,
no, like Darkane level.
No. I mean, it's cool. Like it's cool if other people enjoy them, but it hasn't really click for me or anything.
Hyrax.
They're one of those old school thrash bands, and I remember checking a little bit, but didn't really love their sound too much. So I'm cool checking a little bit just because it's kind of fun seeing some of these old school legacy bands, you know.
Yeah.
And so maybe walking in for a few songs and seeing if they could kind of win me over, but otherwise I'm kind of like a skip.
Yeah, they're kind of like Vader for you, right? Like
Yeah.
Hyrax and Vader are both kind of the same. Yeah. Did I mention Hyrax? I hadn't mentioned mine. Hyrax is kind of a skip for me,
Yeah.
but it's like I don't mind seeing one show. Not much to say, but
Yeah.
Hour of Penance, they're a skip for me. Like
Yeah.
I think they're what from Italy or something, like an Italian
know.
death metal band or something.
I'm
Like
not sure. Yeah, they're kind of a skip for me too. Yeah.
not like it's funny because it's like I remember checking out some of their album artwork and some of the lyrics and stuff, and it's like I was getting this kind of vibe of like a Blasphemy vibe or something, you know. And I was like, that would be cool if like if they had that kind of thing going. Like Blasphemy is that like game that had a bunch of the,
Blasphemous.
Blasphemous. I'm
Okay,
sorry, yeah, Blasphemous.
I was like,
the-
blasphemy, like
like
war metal band,
yeah.
I think, or something. I don't know.
like there's that game Blasphemous, and a lot of the imagery in that game and whatever was
yeah.
like really cool. And so when you got a band like Hour of Penance and stuff, you kind of like feel like
okay,
there
well
might
then I
be
might
like
want to see our penance because that game is pretty cool.
you know, like but again, because I was just looking at album artwork, it looks like they do sing about a lot of religious like stuff and everything. But I haven't really listened to music that much, so I don't really know. I just know that generally death metal isn't like my biggest go-to genre. So they're a skip for now, but we'll see if something's
I don't
going on,
even
might
remember
walk
what genre they were or anything, but I'm just like,
yeah.
I just remember not being.
So
Yeah,
it's a skip
I don't
for you.
remember.
Yeah, it's a skip for me. Yeah.
Unless somebody in the comments like, dude, you have to see them. They're the freaking greatest band ever, and whatever.
And
like, if someone's watching this and they're like, dude, man, you have to see that show, then maybe I'll be convinced to check it.
And I'll be honest, like I love like the Andy guy who picks a lot of the bands and everything. I love like the bands that he picks for the cruise because it's like so many times there'll be a band that's picked and then I'll look it up on like Metal Archives or whatever and I'm like, dude, this band's been around since 1992 and I've never heard of this band, you know.
Yeah.
And like Hour of Penance is like that, where they've been around since the mid to late 90s or something. And I'm just surprised with how many bands they've got freaking 5 to 9 albums, and then it's like, dude, I don't hear anyone talk about this band. And Destinity was kind of like that like last year, where I was just like, you know, from France, like, it's just I like the bands that they pick, you know, because it just like some of these bands, they're not touring America and they're not, you know, and so it gives us the opportunity to check out some stuff that we otherwise wouldn't, you know. And so anyways, so next band is Ignia.
I think they were a skip. I don't remember what they sounded like, but I just remember being like,
They're a skip for me. I listened to a little bit and it just, you know, didn't do much for me, you know.
Were they the female fronted band?
Yeah.
From like Ukraine or something?
Yeah.
I remember them not doing a whole. I think they were symphonic metal or something.
With some like guttural vocals here and there and stuff like.
It just didn't really capture me.
I'm in the same boat. It's a skip for me. We'll see. You know, Ill Disposed. They're a skip for me. Another death metal
skip
band,
for me
I guess.
too. Another one of those that have been around forever, made a ton of albums, but I just.
I don't
really know their music. You know, if there's literally nothing going on, then I could walk into an Ill Disposed show and see, see if like, oh man, like maybe these guys could win me over, you know.
Right.
But otherwise, I'm kind of like, we already have so many bands that we're gonna be wanting to see that it's probably like realistically gonna be hard to fit in any of these kinds of bands. So
right. I got that wrong. I had to look this up. I guess like Hour of Penance's first album was 2003. I think I maybe got them mixed up with Ill Disposed because
they've been around since like the 90s.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I mixed those two up.
Well, you were Ill Disposed.
I was Ill Disposed in my conflating these two bands. Anyways, so
that's right. Who's next?
Yeah. So next up we've got Illumishade. So this is kind of like the Disney, the Disney one. They're a skip for me, but I wouldn't mind maybe seeing one show. It's just, but
they're a skip for me too, man.
Yeah, they're a skip.
Sorry, dog. It's not gonna work. It's a skip for me.
Anyways, not much to say for Illumishade. Next up, we've got In Mourning.
In Mourning.
I think they were on in 2018 as well, and they're a band that like the name pops up from time to time and everything.
And I think I check out a little bit here and there, but I don't think they've ever really won me. They might be a skip for me too.
Skip, yeah, I'm a skip. Sorry, I'm taking away.
Nah, it's okay.
You know, we've been taking turns on the band, but you know,
it's fine.
Insomnium. So Insomnium, they are doing like a special set. Like they're doing their, was it 2015 album?
Yeah,
Or
14.
2014 album. They're doing that full album.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name.
Oh, Shadows of the Sun.
Shadows of the Sun.
Shadows of the Dying Sun.
Shadows of the Dying
Wait a
Sun.
minute. Holy crap! This is
You guys heard it. You know, it's that one album.
It's that one.
And that's the thing is we do all our videos just like off the cuff and everything because it's like we want that authentic feel of like, do you either like know what you're talking about or you don't? And I obviously don't know what I'm talking about, you know.
Yeah,
but it's like
Shadows of the Dying Sun.
Insomnium's the kind of band that like back in the day we got into those first two albums.
Yeah.
And it's like you were more of like the melodic death metal guy than I was. I was always more of like the prog power kind of guy, you know. But like Insomnium's a band that like, man, I didn't think that they would be that big.
Yeah.
Like they always surprised me with the success that they've had, and like Insomnium is like
They've like worked hard over the years.
Yeah,
and
they've
then,
worked
and
hard.
Then, like 10 years ago, we were like, wait, is Insomnium big now?
right,
You know?
right. We were
And
like surprised,
we were
like,
surprised,
oh man. And same thing with Morse Principium S. They were another band that when we got into them at the time, they only had those first two albums.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then I'm just surprised because they've got all these albums. So I always think of Insomnium and Morse Principium S together.
Me too,
because
yeah.
it's like they got the first two albums and then they got their two albums. And
We
it's
thought
like,
they were similar to like Human Fortress because it was kind of
Yeah.
like at the time.
At
all
the
these
time.
bands only had two albums.
yeah.
Lost Horizon only had two albums.
Lost
So we were
Horizon,
just
yeah.
kind of like, yeah, all these bands are great. We'll see what happens, you know, in the future. And
that's the cool thing is when we got into like all this metal stuff, like we got into it when a lot of these bands were releasing their first album or their
Yeah.
second album. Or
like Circus
whatever,
Maximus,
you know?
like their first
Yeah.
album came out in 05, and we were like, man, this is sick, you know?
Yep. So it's really cool to see all these bands and where
Yeah.
they've gone. But,
Yeah, true.
But going back to Insomnium, I do want to see both shows, you
Yeah,
know,
me
because
too.
like I like that like bands are doing like a special set and everything because one of the things that's annoying is like when you see both shows and then like 70% of like the first show is in the second show and you're just kind of like,
Yeah,
can
that
you
was
play some
annoying.
other stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But when they do like one set is going to be a special set and you know the other set is not going to have,
Yeah.
you know, so I love that stuff.
I love that too. They're
You
a
know.
two-setter for me too. I like that Shadows album. I think it's really good. And it's funny because when they were announced, like I was more of a casual fan, and then since they've been announced, I've been listening to them like endlessly, like
Yeah.
a ton, and kind of really getting more acquainted with a lot of the albums that I skipped over the years, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like listening to them more, and now I feel like I'm a much bigger fan now, just in the last 6 months, than I ever was back in 2005. Whenever we only listened to those first two albums,
yeah,
you know,
in the
So-
halls of awaiting, or whatever.
yeah, since the day it all came down. So
Yeah.
it is really cool just like hearing Insomnium and realizing, yeah, they're a band that has so much more in their sound than I originally thought they did, you know.
Right, yeah.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to that full album, you know. I think it's going to be awesome. And I'm looking forward to the best of like voted playlist too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Isaac Rim.
It's a skip for me.
Yeah, skip for me. I don't know a whole lot about him. I guess it's like a reunion show, but you know,
Yeah.
I just don't really know anything about him.
Yeah.
Camelot. So they're a two-show setter for me. They're probably the power metal band that I'm most excited to see.
Yeah.
As you guys know, we have a video where we went through the Epica and the Black Halo albums, like in its entirety, and talked about it. And like because we're from like the Tampa area and everything, Camelot means a lot to us. We were there for the Black Halo tour. We were there for the Ghost Opera tour. And it's just kind of like the last time I've seen Camelot was during the Haven tour. So it was like 2015 or something like that. So it's been like 10 years since I've seen Camelot.
I guess you're not a good fan.
Well, when was the last show you went to? Like 20 years ago? Like, and for
Yeah.
you, it was like the Ghost Opera
Ghost Opera
was the last
I ever
show.
saw.
So
So,
you-
I've never seen Tommy Karavik live.
Yeah,
I've only
yeah.
seen Roy Khan. So yeah, I'm excited for the Camelot shows. I think it'd be cool. It's time. You know, it's time
Yeah.
to see them again.
So you're like a two-show.
Two show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I-
those shows were gonna be awesome.
And the thing with Camelot is like, it's really cool because so many bands I think are getting nostalgic and stuff. And I hope Camelot does a lot of
Yeah,
Black
old
Halo
school. Dude,
material.
I
you
hope they
know?
play some Fourth Legacy because
Fourth
Fourth
Legacy
Legacy
would
is
be
stuff
great.
that they almost never play. But I'm just like, dude, Fourth Legacy is a masterpiece album, as well as freaking Karma, Epica, Black
yeah.
Halo. Like all of those are anything from those albums is gonna be masterpiece, and
Yeah.
I'll freaking love it.
I
You know?
agree. So Camelot's a two-show. Cannon Fever, take it away,
They're
bro.
they're kind of a two show, maybe one show if there's a conflict for the second show. I'm excited because like some of their live videos and stuff look really good. You know,
Right.
I've only heard like I'm kind of a casual Canon and Fever fan. You know, like I liked the first album when it came out, and then the second one came out, and I was like, I think I only went through like once or something. You know,
Right.
but like the first album, I was kind of like, yeah, this is pretty cool. You know, we'll see if they're kind of similar to Beast in Black, where
Right.
I'm kind of like, oh, this is like a newer band that's getting tons and tons of
A
recognition.
lot of traction.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm kind of like, I think it would be a fun show. Same thing with Groza. Canon and Fever is the closest to like more black metal. It's like a blend of black metal with death metal. So it's kind of like, that'd be kind of cool to just scratch that itch, so to speak, to
Yeah.
see a band like that.
They're kind of like one show for me, you know. If we do see both shows, fine. But it's like some of these bands that only have like one or two albums and stuff, you're gonna get a lot of repeat songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
so
true.
so I don't think that
Yeah,
there's
maybe,
gonna be,
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
you know, like. So this show we're playing their first album. This show we're playing the second album. Like there's gonna be
If they did
repeat
that, then
songs.
it would be a little more,
A little
like,
more, yeah,
oh
yeah.
yeah. But if they're kind of like, oh, we're just gonna play our hit song like on both shows and all that
Yeah.
stuff, then yeah, I
Exactly.
agree.
So yeah, Orden Ogan, they're a band that, you know, like some of these like 2010s area power metal bands, I just haven't been able to get into that much, you know.
Yeah.
Orden Ogan's a band that like I do want to see at least one show because I've tried listening to this
Yeah.
album that came out, and then I listen to that album, and then I just start from the beginning, listen to their first album, and I've tried to get into Orden Ogan many times, and they just don't click with me.
Yeah.
So I want to at least see one show because I want to see if they can win me over. Because I've tried getting into them. I just haven't been able to get into them. What do you think, bro?
Same. I'm kind of like, I'm curious to walk into a show. Same thing with Firewind. But yeah, like you, I've tried listening to their stuff. I remember when their 2015 album came out, and I
Yeah.
remember I went through like most of it, and it just sounded like normal power metal stuff.
Yeah.
Like it just didn't really have something different or unique to really pull me in. So who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe they have something there, but I just haven't heard it yet.
Paradise Lost.
Paradise Lost is kind of I kind of want to see both shows. So they're doing a special show with like the Ascension album for one show, and then a best of for the other show.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like the Ascension album, I like the first half of that album more than the second half. Like after like track 5 or 6, like I feel like it just doesn't really appeal as much to me. So
Yeah.
part of me is like, well, if there is a conflict or something, I just want to make sure I at least see the first song, because the first two songs are probably my favorite songs on
Right,
that
right.
Ascension album. But I think I'm more devoted to seeing the second show, the sort of best of kind of show. I think that'd be pretty cool. And I'm not the hugest Paradise Lost fan, but it's just one of those opportunities that I'm like, I probably won't ever have this opportunity again. Same thing with Anthrax, where it's like,
Right,
this is a
yeah.
legendary band that, you know, I've never seen before, that it would be fun to see them, you know.
For me, I was kind of thinking like, yeah, because I'm not a big doom metal kind of guy, you know. I don't mind like to see like one show for Paradise Lost at least, you know. I don't mind going to both shows if you know the scheduling works out that way,
Yeah.
you know, then cool. But it's like I kind of get the feeling like Paradise Lost helps sell a lot of tickets because I feel like Paradise Lost is a band that a lot of people have been wanting on the boat for
Yeah.
a long time, you know.
And I
so-
feel like the best of show, from what people voted, it does seem like a healthy mix of gothic metal and doom metal like songs. You know, like it does seem like a good balance of it. So I think that will probably be good. At least it won't be. There's enough variety to keep the show like engaging. You know.
Yeah. Persephone. They're a band that I don't mind maybe seeing one show, but I've listened to some of their stuff, it just never clicked with me, so they could also be a skip as well.
Yeah, they're probably a skip for me too.
Yeah. Rhapsody of Fire.
Yeah, Rhapsody of Fire's. I'd want to see 2 shows, but I'm okay if we miss one show. I guess we saw them recently, like a few months ago, and like they're great. Like they're great live and everything. I enjoy Rhapsody's music, but I'm looking forward to more Camelot. But as far as the other power metal stuff, I'm probably looking forward to Camelot, then Beast of Black, then maybe Rhapsody of Fire.
Right.
Third,
Out of the
probably.
power metal.
Yeah, the power metal stuff. So I'm like, try to see 2, but if we see 1, then I'm not gonna easily sleep over it.
Yeah. I've seen Rhapsody twice now, you know, and like Ian said, we saw him like literally like 3 or 4 months ago. So if the shows on the cruise are gonna be similar to the shows that they've been touring this past year, then I feel like, okay, well, I'm fine only seeing like one show, you know. But if they start digging deeper into the catalog and doing some B-side stuff, some stuff that they don't play as much, then I definitely want to see 2 shows. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it really
depends.
just depends on what they play live.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, I'll try and get both shows for Rhapsody of Fire, but we'll see. Royal Hunt. They're a band that, like, you know, again, they've been on the back burner for a long time and everything. I've heard a little bit here and there. I don't mind seeing like one show, but yeah, it's just Royal Hunt doesn't get me excited. But I
Yeah.
feel like, given like the stuff that I'm into, I should be more excited. But they're,
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see if they win me over.
Yeah, I'm kind of a one show, like I feel like what I've heard is like pretty good. I'm not a huge fan, but like, maybe they can win me over too.
Yeah. Satan.
So I've been listening to them a ton, old school metal, and I've really enjoyed them a lot. I kind of want to see both shows, but at the same time, if there's a conflict or something, then I'm okay seeing one show. So I am kind of let's try it for two shows. And their newer albums since 2013 have all been great. Like it's for them, they sound just like how like old school Blue Oyster Cult and Rainbow sound in the 70s. Like even to like some of their production choices sounds like old school, like hard rock, heavy metal kind of stuff from like the late 70s, early 80s. And it's cool that there's a band like this on the cruise because it's like, yeah, there's not a lot of bands doing that kind of sound. So I'm kind of two, maybe one show.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards like at least one show. They're a band that like, it's cool to have some of that new wave of British heavy metal like genre on the boat and stuff, because it's like Flotsam and Jetsam, like we saw the one show, last year. So it is cool to see some of those bands because it's like again, I hope Metal Church goes back on the boat sometime, there's a couple other bands like Tank would be cool to go back on the boat, and so just it's nice to have just like a straightforward heavy metal kind of band from time to time. Saturnus. So this is a band that like I don't know real well. Again, I'm not the biggest Doom person. You've been checking them out more. At the time, I was thinking like I'll probably skip them, but now I'm kind of like I wouldn't mind seeing like one show at least, But you got more to say. So what do you think?
Just in this last week. So I've been listening to them a good bit, and just this last week, I'm so impressed with Saturnus' sound. And I never really listened to them before, and this cruise kind of like motivated me more. Not now that I kind of know what they're about. Like I love their sort of melancholic approach to like this doom metal with a little gothic metal, and their sort of like romanticized type of melodies, mournful melodies and stuff is awesome. And
some of the stuff that you were playing, like I told Ian, I was like, this kind of reminds me of Theater of Tragedy, kind of stuff, like late 90s Theater of Tragedy type stuff. But sorry to interrupt you.
No worries. I'm kind of like, I want to see two shows, I think, for them. But if we have to do one show, but I'm going to shoot for two shows for them because I do think they're a special kind of band. They're similar to Swallow the Sun last year, where it's kind of like that sort of like doom metal, but it's very mournful and melodic and stuff. I'm kind of like, that'd be kind of cool.
And that's the thing is, it's like if I were to ask you about this list a month ago, you would have been like, Saturnus is like a skip,
whatever. Yeah,
So it's just Seven Spires. They're a band that I think a lot of people are excited for and everything. I guess I'll let you take this away.
I never really got into them, and I've heard a tiny bit, but I'm willing to try at least maybe one show and see if they win me over.
I'm cool with one show as well. Like I just. If you're watching the channel, it makes it seem like we always got something negatives to say about all the female like fronted bands, and that's not the case. Like there's a lot of like female fronted bands that were
plenty.
I like the females in metal. It's just that like
I know everyone in the comments, like these freaking misogynist pieces of it.
I know, right? But it's just kind of like I there's just certain bands and stuff that I feel like they just maybe I haven't listened to enough of their music. But the music hasn't just won me over of something like awesome.
Hey, we did say something good about Arcona.
Yeah.
She's a great vocalist. Like she's great.
And so Seven Spires, I see the traction that they're getting like online and everything, and I'm like, I don't know. It's just we'll see. So maybe they can win me over, and I'm okay with being won over because, dude, I can't know everything about every band and every vocalist and every whatever. So it's just. All I know is like there's a certain area, especially for the epic metal and stuff, like the Delane and the Xandria, where I just got burned out of these female vocalists, and I wanted something more. It's just Anyways, Skeletal Remains.
Is it my turn?
I think it's my turn. Yeah. So Skeletal Remains. They're a skip for me.
They're a skip for me. Just
American
kind of
death
regular
metal.
Although if I'd be curious to check out some of the show actually, because sometimes,
You never
Sometimes
know.
you never know.
Like when
Yeah.
when you've gone to like a power metal and then a power metal, like sometimes it's like,
I want to
it's
go
like
for your death.
yeah. Sometimes it's like 2 or 3 in the morning, and you're like, Skeletal Remains. I'm going to that show.
Yeah,
Like sometimes it's
you're
just
like,
the timing
you're
is
like,
right.
I want something brutal. I've just eaten
Yeah.
some pizza. I just saw
Yeah.
like 2 freaking power metal bands.
Yeah.
I want something brutal now.
Yeah,
and,
and like you go into the show and they're just like, and you're just
Yeah.
kind of like, this is what I need, kind of
like,
thing.
hey,
Like,
hey, everyone. Yeah.
So,
So
I get
yeah,
it.
I'm more curious about them. I guess more so than some of the thrash bands like Gamma Bomb and Dust Bowl and stuff.
right. Skyclad.
I'd want to see maybe 2 or 1 show. It's 2. I'll shoot for 2, but maybe
Some
1.
of that Pokemon.
Yeah, they're them and Elvite and Arcona are like the folk metal bands that that like I'm very kind of like interested, and I want to at least see the first show and see if it wins me over.
Yeah.
And I've heard some of like Skyclad's albums, but it was years ago. Like we have all their stuff, but I've always been a casual fan, not like a diehard Skyclad. But their lyrics are great. Their lyrics are amazing. So I don't
But
know.
honestly, all 3 bands are so different from each other.
They are.
You know?
It's like all 3 are
it's-
folk metal, but they're way different
Yeah.
kinds of folk metal from each other.
Skyclad's kind of like a one show for me. You know, I'm not as into it as you are, but I don't have much
Just
to
don't
say.
like that Pokemon, huh?
Sowen's a band that I do kind of want to see like 1 show, and again, I think they're the kind of band that's like the palate cleanser.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know, you see a show after you've seen a bunch of other stuff, and then you're just like, okay, cool. You know,
Yeah.
I don't love Sowen, but it's like, again, maybe they can win me over. You know, maybe I'll be like so happy with it that I'll see the second show.
Yeah,
But for now, I'm thinking realistically, I'll probably just see the 1 show.
yeah, that's how I feel. 1 show, maybe 2 if it convinces me, but yeah, kind of cool band. Yeah, pretty good, solid, good band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Soil Work.
Oh, 2 shows for sure. They're one of those bands that I've never seen, but I've been a fan like ever since like 2002.
Yeah.
Natural Born Chaos was my first record with them, and that one, Predator's Portrait and Chain Arm Machine, are just masterpieces of melodic death metal. And I still like their newer stuff, but I don't like the newer stuff as much as I like those first like 5 albums. Those first 5 albums for me are just like so amazing. So
Here's the thing, Soilwork is the band that I do want to see both shows, but they're the band that's just like very much like, hey, how's it going?
Are you done?
No. Yeah.
Dinner's ready.
Yeah, no worries. So Soilwork's the kind of band that's like, I do want to see both shows, but they're the most like, I'm worried about what their shows are going to be like, you know,
Yeah.
because it's like there's that like short or whatever that the vocalist was like saying like, yeah, you know, Stabbing in the Drama is 20 years old.
Yeah.
And we're excited that like
Yeah.
you guys love it, and I'm like, I don't love Stabbing in the
Yeah.
Drama. Like I hope they play some Chain Heart Machine. I hope they play some Natural Born Chaos,
Yeah.
stuff like that, because I feel like Soulwork's the kind of band that feels. I think they're the band that like they focus on Stabbing the Drama and Onward,
Yeah.
and then they don't focus on the old stuff. And I'm like, dude, play some Aardvark Trail, man. Why not?
Yeah.
Like I want them to play the old stuff and only the old stuff.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Like
But-
some of the newer, like if you're playing Stabbing the Drama, then play Distance because that's an amazing freaking song. I'm very picky on some of their like later albums, and same thing with the Panic Broadcast. I love Two Lives Worth of Reckoning. That song is amazing, you know. But when it comes to those first 5 albums, I love like every song on those. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, dude, if they played something like freaking Bullet Beast
Yeah.
or freaking oh gosh,
Oh,
I'm blanking
Flame
on the
Out,
name.
Flame Out would be great.
Flame
All
Out would
the-
be great. Like
you know,
Machine Gun Majesty
Follow
or
the
something.
Hollow, Machine-
Follow the
yeah,
Hollow,
all of
like
that.
all of that. Soulworker, Song of the Damned,
Yeah.
all of that. Like, man, that'd just be so sick.
Because here's the thing, I like it when they were more of like a melodic death metal band, not some like metalcore hybrid band.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the biggest like metalcore guy, but I think Soulwork thinks that like, oh, metalcore is what people want, and it's like, well, here in America, people are wrong. We don't want metalcore, you know, and so that's why I'm most nervous about the Soulwork shows.
Yeah.
Of them only playing a bunch of stuff that I'm gonna be
Newer
like,
stuff. Yeah.
you know. So
Yeah,
but we'll see.
we'll see. I know I'll still enjoy it. I do want to see both shows just in case, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
You know, they might surprise us.
Sweet Acra, they're kind of a skip for me, but again, I might
Yeah.
waltz into one show. We'll see. You know,
Skip for me
um,
too. Yeah, I checked them out multiple times over the years, last
Yeah.
20 years, and they've never really clicked.
yeah, Tribulation.
They're one I wouldn't mind seeing 1 or 2 shows. Like I like them. I like their old school death metal stuff, but I also really like their gothic metal newer stuff too.
Mhm.
You know, like So I'm kind of one, maybe two shows if we can, you know.
Yeah, that new album you were playing the other day was pretty good. You know,
Sub Rosa and Ea Eternum.
Yeah, so I they're kind of like a one show for me. You know, we'll see. Not much more to say, but Tear, they're kind of a skip for me, but I don't mind seeing like one show. They have some like goofy lyrics and stuff, you know. So they're a band.
They're the most fun folk metal.
Yeah,
band.
I think they're that's kind of the impression I get. But again, I don't mind them trying to win me over. You know, maybe seeing one show. Like
I'm a little curious, but if we skipped them, I wouldn't lose any sleep.
Yeah. Vader.
I don't mind seeing one show. I've tried listening to them. I tried getting to them, but it just sounds like normal death metal to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
They just haven't won me over like when I've checked them out.
And they've been around since what, like the 80s
or something?
Yeah. They're kind of a skip for me, but we'll see. Maybe one show. VBO. Skip. I don't know. Like, here's the thing. Like, I guess like with VBO, it's supposed to be like the premiere of their music and whatever.
Yeah.
And I guess it's like a side project from the Windrose guy or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know what to expect with this, but I actually think that this artist, VBO, might be the kind of artist that people go to at like 2 a.m. and it might be a palate cleanser for some people.
I might check it just out of curiosity.
Like we like a lot of synth pop and stuff.
I do, yeah.
But I don't know anything about these guys, so I don't know what to expect.
The reason why we're laughing is because so many people are like, "Why they got synth stuff on the cruise?" And
yeah.
But
yeah. So I mean, it's tentatively like a skip, but maybe like one, but most likely a skip.
Yeah.
It just seems so weird.
Yeah.
So you're the same. Violence.
Now they're kind of a 1 or 2 show for me. Like I remember checking them a long time ago and couldn't get into the vocals, and then checked them in the last like few months, and I was like, okay, the vocals are actually kind of cool and the riffs are really cool. So they've kind of grown in my estimation, you know. Yeah. So I don't mind at least seeing one show.
I feel like Violence is similar to like Heathen and Satan, where it's like they scratch that itch of like kind of like just that heavy metal, but that old school stuff and, you know, just. Yeah, so they're like Heathen and Satan and stuff, where it's like Violence. I wouldn't mind seeing one show.
Yeah.
You know. Windrose.
I might walk into one show out of curiosity, but I'm not a big Windrose fan.
Yeah.
You know? I'm like, okay, I'm okay skipping them.
But. Yeah, they're a skip for me, but maybe I'll see like one show. And the thing is like Windrose was just on in 2024. So I feel like if they're gonna be on this often, I wish it was another band that was on this off. Like I've again, some of those 2010 power metal bands I'm not the biggest fan of. And it's just Wolf. So Wolf is a band that like maybe I'll see one show.
That old school metal.
Exactly, but I don't know.
Retro, new, but doing old school style.
Doing that I don't know. They're either a skip or maybe one show.
Same.
Not much to say for Wolf.
Yeah, you know? Skip. But if I'm if there's time, I don't mind swinging by.
Yeah, and then the last band announced is Xandria.
They're a skip for me.
Skip for me. I've seen them like once or twice opening up for Sonata Arctica in the past and everything. Yeah. And just they've never really won me over. Yeah. And so, I mean.
So we're with family in the holidays, so we've got to wrap this up and eat food. But thank you guys for watching. Was there any last?
Yeah, my last thoughts is like I'm excited. I did want to mention like bands that I hope are announced sometime, like because there's 9 more slots. You know, I hope Manticora gets announced sometime. If not this year, next year. Another one is Brimir. I hope Brimir gets announced sometime. That would be freaking sick.
Van and
Plaza, all of that, you know. And but I am excited about the cruise this year. I think it's pretty sick.
I'm excited too. I'm glad they're getting Dark-In and So Work On, because both of those are childhood bands that like teenage years band, you know, that I've loved for over 20 years.
Still a child.
That I've loved for just so long that I'm like, it's awesome to be able to actually see some of these bands, you know.
Yeah. So thanks everybody for watching. We're Forgotten Legends of Sound. Just wanted to go through, you know, the excitement for the 2026 cruise and talk about some of the bands announced so far. So anyways, if any of you guys recognize us on the boat, say hi. That's totally cool. Like, we'll just say hi back, I guess, you know, whatever. See ya.
Yeah, have a good one.